ballet. We're all going to go coffee. Well, that's it. We'll go with car convoy, get our cars filled. You're so tired. My car's still. It's good. Just saw a charity shop. So are we moving to
I think so, because then it's
to the car, special night out?
dropping 20 quid. Every time they look at my car, they go out 20 quid, isn't it?
Are we doing the repeats? No repeats. Straight through. It's not the... Right, so no repeats. Okay. Straight through. goes back to the keeper. No, pretty good. Dramatic.
It is actually.
I was just wondering if you're feeling depressed. Badinary piggy's quite nice number 9. Do you have to be a flute?
Hey, I've got a recording in the car if you want one.
Yeah. Just play that. You repeat, it's really short otherwise. Do you both repeat?
Yeah, it's pretty short.
start depressing. Slurs. Well, I think that's still appropriate, really. Got good thought. I quite like it. Maybe no one else likes it.
I mean, we can do mixed
I wondered if anyone wants to do the number 12.
But,
Do I know it?
Oh, really? Is it too hard? Okay. So I wouldn't say push past. Okay, fair enough. Right, put something more. Really, do mine is really depressing. Yeah, which one? Number 16, a depressing pregnant line. Good, make a few more.
Does the Take That song?
Phony? No.
Which one's that? It's a different one, isn't it?
I don't think Take That. This is. She's lovely. It's really slow, isn't it?
Who's got the upbeat? It's me.
Okay.
Is it an 8?
A 4. I know, and we're going to play some more funeral music. Anyway, we could do this whole water music selection. Stairs listen. 17. That's what, that's the way we do talk about it. Are we going to do my pizza? No, straight through. See what I can see anyway.
Good morning and welcome. The ceremony will start in just a few moments. The procession is on its way, but before that, I have a few obligatory requests and notices to give out. Please ensure all mobile phones are on silent, switched to flight mode, or switched off. If I could ask you to check your phones now, that would be great. Thanks. Last ceremony, we had at least half a dozen phones going off with alarms, phone calls, text messages, so thank you. I'd ask that there's no personal photography or filmography during the ceremony. This is due to data protection. Professional photographers are available to purchase, and a stream of the event is available on YouTube, and the link to YouTube will be on the graduation page. Professional photographs will be taken throughout the ceremony, and if anybody doesn't wish for their photo to be taken today and used for publicity, please let myself or one of the marshals know. In the extremely unlikely event that we need to exit the building in a hurry, please remain calm and seated. The marshals will assist you in exiting the building. For staff on the stage, we'll have a fire exit to the left of the altar. For people to my right, please exit through the rear tower door. For people to my left, please exit through the main entrance through which you came. Please wait to be directed by the marshals. When the ceremony has finished, the procession will leave the church and you will all be asked to stand. The procession will be followed by the graduates and finally our VIPs. Our remaining guests will then be asked to follow. If any of the children become restless during the ceremony, we'd ask you to just leave the church, and if you need to, the ceremony is being streamed at the Vincent Centre. Colleagues are there and will be able to support you and get you to the auditorium. Finally, to our graduands, may I be the first to congratulate you on your achievement. When your name is called, please step onto the stage. You will shake the Chancellor's hand before looking to the camera to my left for your official photos. When you leave the stage, please walk down the centre of the aisle towards the back of the church, and marshals will assist you in taking your seats. Thank you, and please enjoy the ceremony and the rest of the day. Can I please ask you to stand for the procession?
Please be seated.
Good morning, everyone. May I welcome you on behalf of the University to this ceremony for the conferment of degrees, certificates, and qualifications. Addressing those who are about to receive those qualifications, degrees, and certificates, today is a very special occasion for you, and indeed for your parents and family, and of course for those who have taught you. Attaining your degree or qualification or certificate, whatever it is, from the University of Buckingham is a real achievement and something of which you will always be proud. You've enjoyed the benefits of a very high standard and personalised standard of teaching from dedicated staff, and I know that you will have studied hard to achieve your goals. I hope you've also taken every opportunity you could, wherever you are or were, to be an active part of the diverse and multicultural student body, which is such a strength of the university, and will have introduced you to people, experiences, traditions, and cultures from across the world. You are the latest in a long and increasing line of distinguished graduates from the University of Buckingham. As you look back on your time at the university and remember the support and encouragement you received, we hope that you will act as ambassadors for your university and continue to enhance our outstanding reputation. I congratulate each and every one of you and wish you every good fortune in your chosen course of career and future life.
Dame Mary, distinguished members of council, distinguished members of faculty, graduands, ladies and gentlemen. First, may I warmly thank Dame Mary Archer for the distinguished chair of the Science Museum and our Chancellor. May I thank you for coming all this way and indeed being with us not only today but all week for these graduation ceremonies. Second, the warmest congratulations to you all, the graduands, I understand, of 2020, 2021, and even 2022. It's wonderful to share the day with you and your families and friends, and I'm looking forward to meeting each one of you physically in the marquee on the Balaf lawn after this occasion. So congratulations to you all. I'm really proud of you. I want to thank, of course, Professor Barnaby Lennon, the Dean of the Faculty of Education, for guiding you through the courses you've been preparing for. And I'm really grateful to all the work he and his team do. I'm so glad you chose the University of Buckingham, our unique boutique university. I'm so proud of it, and I hope that as you go into the world, you will look back with pride too. This special graduation today is to confer degrees and other diplomas, certificates and so on in education. And that's particularly exciting to me because education was my discipline. And before I became Vice-Chancellor here, not quite 2 years ago, I'd been an education professor and for a quarter of a century been teaching students like yourselves in various Russell Group universities around the country. Indeed, my work has been addressing educational injustices around the world. And given that you are working in teaching and so on, I thought I might just say a few words about my career, because I once was like you at the beginning of a career, and I would so much like to think of you as you head forward. But my career was, I started as a mathematics teacher in Zimbabwe, and then I then became a researcher at the National Foundation of Educational Research, trying to improve mathematics education. And then my PhD was from UCL, Institute of Education, about the role of government in education. And I became an expert on private education in developing countries. And as everyone knew then, this is 20 years ago I'm talking about now, as everyone knew then, private education is about the elite or the privileged. And yet I felt my mission in life should be about serving the poor. So there was this big disconnect in my life until I had an epiphany when I was working in Hyderabad in south central India. I was looking at doing work on elite private colleges. And following a hunch I had, I went wandering into the slums of the old city of Hyderabad, and I found a school, a private school, a low-cost private school, and then another, and soon I was in touch with a federation of 500 of these private schools. And I spoke to the parents, mostly Muslim mothers in that part of Hyderabad, and I said, why are you sending your children to private schools, spending fees, admittedly very small fees, in my eyes, when the government school is free? And people told me, the mothers told me that in the government schools their children are abandoned. And I went to see one of these government schools for myself, and there, sure enough, in a very nice building compared to the low-cost private schools, there were 130 children sitting on the floor amongst the mosquitoes, eager, happy to see this stranger in their midst. But, as one mother put it, abandoned. The teachers had abandoned them. So I was really fired up this. I went back to the International Finance Corporation in Washington, D.C., where I was working, and I told them what I'd seen, the solution to educational injustice. The poor themselves, self-help, were making something brilliant. And I was told, calm down, Tuli, calm down. But I didn't calm down, and I spent the next 20 years researching this phenomenon in the slums of Nigeria, Ghana, Kenya, other parts of India, even rural China, and then finally going to the world's most difficult places, Sierra Leone, Liberia, South Sudan, Somalia, all the time exploring ways to improve educational conditions for the poor. So that's a summary of my life's work, and maybe some of you will be tempted to work in difficult places, or maybe some of you will be happy and content and inspired by the challenge of the work you're doing in schools all over the country. In these speeches, I like to just go back to this day in history and find something that may be relevant to us. And there's a very topical thing that is relevant to us at the moment, given the political turmoil we're in, and given the fact that Boris Johnson so admired Winston Churchill. Winston Churchill in 1945, on this day in history, Winston Churchill lost the general election, the one after the war. Some say he helped us win the war, and then the people turned him down. And there's lots, I think, to learn from Winston Churchill. And one of the things is, of course, that the modesty one has in the face of achievement. On winning the war, he said, "I've never accepted what many people have kindly said, namely that I inspired the nation. It was the nation and those dwelling all around the globe that had the lion's heart. I had the luck to be called upon to give the roar." That's really powerful, isn't it? That we succeed and we can sometimes recognize that others are the cause of our success. On perseverance and effort, Winston Churchill, he had some wonderful lines throughout the war and afterwards. "I have nothing to offer," he said, "but blood, toil, tears, and sweat." And there were so many ups and downs, as there will be in our lives. And he said, "Success consists of going from failure to failure without loss of enthusiasm." But I'll finish on one of his quotes, which I think is now about each of you. You've reached this moment. He says, "To each there comes in their lifetime a special moment when they are figuratively tapped on the shoulder and offered the chance to do a very special thing, unique to them and fitted to their talents. What a tragedy if that moment finds them unprepared or unqualified for that which could have been their finest hour." We've done what we can in the University of Buckingham to prepare you, to qualify you for the challenges that come ahead. But I'm sure each one of you will have that very special moment coming up. The University of Buckingham's motto, Alice Volans Proprius, flying on your own wings, sums up that really. I like to think we've given you or helped you get your wings. to help you to fly, but also we do want to be a strong part of your roots too. Do see yourselves as part of a growing international family of alumni of the University of Buckingham. So I wish you well in all the next stages of your life. Life won't all be plain sailing. There'll be ups and downs. But I know you'll get through. And keep in touch. Please. Thank you.
Chancellor, I call upon Professor Barnaby Lennon, Dean of the Faculty of Education, to present candidates for awards of the University of Buckingham in Education.
Good morning, everybody. I was a teacher for 40 years, and here I still am. And I'm in touch with friends from school and university, and although some of them have made more money than I have, I'm so pleased that after I left university, I decided to be a teacher. I hope you all have that feeling too. The joy of being able to stay close to a subject I love. The discovery that I could continue through many years to develop my understanding of that subject while taking on new responsibilities as the years ticked by. I never ever found teaching boring. I often found it riveting. Not enough people say that of their jobs. The fun of working alongside like-minded colleagues, the everyday drama of school life, the terrible things some pupils do, the wonderful things some pupils do. The fact that few jobs have the capacity to make so much difference to the lives of people. The other day I was invited for coffee with an army general who claimed that I had taught him in 1980. He meant little to me, I'm afraid, except for the fact that the coffee was a reminder to us teachers that in some small way that had some significance to him, I had said or done something that he still remembered and which had had a helpful impact on his life. And in 30 years' time, most of your pupils will remember you. Many will be grateful, especially for pressing on during those dimly remembered days of that virus. Many will remember a good deal of what you taught. Some will recall individual lessons and even specific things you said in individual lessons. Nobody told me that that would happen when I was doing teacher training. You are the key workers. We teachers, we may not be especially wealthy, but we are so rich and so clever for having chosen a profession which leads to a life which is brimming with interest and full of moral purpose. And so, Chancellor, I present to you the graduates in education. For the degree of Master of Arts in Education, Kelly Chalk with distinction. Jodian Cole. Marcel Davis. Jessica Gardner. Liliana Garza Saldivar. Ella Harrison. Lee Kelsall. Nikila Manners. Pritish Patel. Seema Raja. Arnon Scott. Catherine Thackeray. For the degree of Master of Education in Educational Leadership and Management, Olawale Akadiri. Melanie Chambers. Manjit Chand. Deborah Sheesh Portish. Joanne Devers. Anthony Donahue. Sean Gibson. Sharon Jarrett with distinction. Parmjeet Plummer with distinction. Patrick Long with distinction. Tanya Schnettler. Daniela Florentina Volt. For the awards of Master of Education in Educational Leadership and Management and Postgraduate Certificate in Middle Leadership, Brendan Charles Morris with distinction. For the award of Postgraduate Certificate in Education, Oluwasegun Aridegbe with distinction. Farah Ahmed. Muir Clemo. Vanessa Crambert with distinction. Lucy Everson. Bianca Fox. Cassandra Grippioni. Ankarod Hand. Maria Hussein. Stephanie Jarman. Yukti Kotacha Davda. Lisa Mackay. Davina Mistry. Jackie Page Streeton. Georgia Pomfret. Ishrat Shabir. Kirsten Shepherd with distinction. Monique Helene Smith-Rowe. Ludmila Swizinska. Kim Wright. For the award of Postgraduate Certificate in Education with Qualified Teacher Status, Glevisa Beshku. Jennifer Binnington Savage. Phoebe Bradbury. Alice Johnson. Africa Mason. Mary Claire Moses with distinction. Rachel Platt with distinction. Sudha Satish. Chancellor, that concludes the presentation.
The Chancellor will now conclude this ceremony.
So, as the Registrar has said, this ceremony is now drawing to its close. May I again congratulate all our new graduates and certificate holders and new masters, and wish you all good fortune in the next stage of your careers. As you leave the university, you will take with you, wherever you go and throughout your life, the knowledge you have acquired at Buckingham of educational theory and practice. Equipped as you are with the skills and knowledge to rescue young minds, indeed minds of all ages, from the pain and tyranny of ignorance. Flying on your own wings, as the Vice-Chancellor has reminded us. As you go forward, I know you will take with you the independence of mind that is mirrored in the ethos of independence that permeates the very fabric of this university. I wish you all the very best. This ceremony is now concluded.
Please be upstanding.